Speaker this morning is Annette, working on her Project 9, which means she's almost done her confident communicator. Please welcome Annette Denick and her speech entitled, Pearls Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Is the biggest obstacle standing in your way of leading a balanced life you? How many books do you think there are at Amazon with the words work, life, balance in the title? About 2,500. And most of them are geared towards female executives. This is a hot topic, especially for women. It can be very daunting to figure out how to do that fine balance. Work-life balance really should be about balancing your rewards and your pleasures with those work and sacrifice that we do on a day-to-day basis. Why is this balance so elusive to us? What colony did we get told as children that this would happen? Why do we need over 2,500 books to help us figure out how to do it? If you own your own business, if you're in corporate America, or if you just have a job that consumes your life, being out of balance may end up being your norm. Unless you spend the time to focus and the attention that it takes to get yourself back in balance, you may end up with dysfunction, relationship friction, stress, and just plain old good-fashioned burnout. So what do we do? Today, instead of reviewing all of those theories and studies and those 2,500 books that are out there, I plan on sharing with you some pearls. In preparation for this talk, I actually reached out to about half a dozen female executives that I work with around the country and asked them two questions. What pearls of wisdom would you share with an up-and-coming female executive about work-life balance? And secondly, how well do you follow your own advice? I received many pearls. Enough to make an opera-length strand. But today, you're getting the pearl choker version. So to start with, set your priorities and stick to them. Your priorities should be the basis that you make all of your decisions on. If your priority is your family and work starts creeping in, family first. It'll help you make that work decision easier. Not easy, but easier. And speaking of family, remember that you're part of your family. So your wishes and desires and wants and needs should always be taken into consideration when you're setting these priorities. Secondly, take stock of any activity that is not enhancing your career or your personal life and try to find ways to minimize those. A good example, have your dry cleaning delivered. Heck, have your groceries delivered. You can do that these days. And when you get home from work, really resist the temptation to sit in front of the TV for hours on end. I would invite you to have a meaningful conversation with your spouse. Talk to your kids. Go out and meet friends. Take up a hobby, read a book. Do something. Even though I must say there is some benefit to watching Jeopardy. For the most part, try something else. Set your boundaries and learn to say no. What a difficult one that is. We always tend to cave in when we have that pressure. And we think that just because we say no, we're weak. People will look down on us. But the opposite is true. When you stand your ground, you develop confidence. And you know that you're right. Draw that line in the sand, and when you say no, mean it. Wrap it up in a little box, put a bow on it, and put it away, because you're done. Stay organized, but don't stress about it, for all you OCD people out there. You want to maintain it and manage it. Everything should have a place, but not every place has to have everything in it. Reduce gadget dependency. This is the hardest one. The technology that should be the very helpfulness to us to keep our days going, keeping us focused and organized, becomes a distraction. The bells, the buzzers, the alerts, the updates on Facebook that take our attention off of what we're trying to accomplish that day. 2 hints for you. For me, when I'm working on a project, everything's off. My total focus has to be on that project, especially when I have a deadline. It is very hard. I make myself not check email at least once every 1 to 2 hours, and that is rough. When you get ready to leave for the day, and you're reviewing what you accomplished that day, and you're planning for the next day, as you leave, power everything down. Your work iPhone or BlackBerry, your work laptop. Leave them at the office, put them in your car. If you work at home, close that door and don't go back in until the next day when you power everything back up. Have a pact with your supervisor and your staff. I do this. This is what I've done for the last 5 years. If my boss needs me on the weekend or at night, she's got my home phone and my home personal phone. If my staff needs me at night or on the weekend, they've got my numbers too. Over the last 5 years, I can probably count on one hand the times we've talked on the weekend or night. But it's very important that you take the initiative to control how this controls your life. Take care of yourself. I would retitle that book and movie, Eat, Pray, Love, Sleep, and Exercise. Realize that you are the most important being in your life, and if you let things fall to the side, you're going to take people with you. So commit, out of those 5 things, try to do 3 every day. For me, yoga, hot yoga actually, is my tranquility. Spinning and Zumba are my exercise. You all know my passion is international travel. My love are my grandchildren and my husband. You guys have them. You have your passions, you have your loves, and you have your hobbies. You need to go do them. Finally, that second question. Those female executives, do they actually do what they preach? How do they handle those pearls? Well, 50% of them said they could do about 1 to 2 of them consistently. Today, for you, did 1 or 2 resonate with you? Do you think 1 or 2 of them you might be able to take home and start working to possibly insert some balance back into your life? Well, I hope so, because you're the only person standing in the way of getting that balance. And I hope that you will start with a single pearl and hopefully end up with an opera strand.
Oh.
Thank you.